Sage Wonder coming at you from my van down by the river. So, I would like to briefly address the concept of crisis actors. Now, for those of you, I think everyone here is familiar with the concept of crisis actors, but I will go ahead and flesh that out for those who are not aware of the phrase. The concept is that a lot of these big events that are gun violence that lead to more cries for gun control are staged events by the deep state, by the government, by the conspiracy. And that, this belief that these are false flags, that's another phrase for it, false flags. To me, a false flag is is more like what Nero did in Rome, where he set the ghettos on fire and blamed it on the Christians, then rounded all the Christians up. So 9/11 being an inside job, I think that's a classic false flag concept, where maybe the government either knew about it and didn't do anything to stop it, or they worked in concert with the terrorists, or it was the government doing it in some way. That's a false flag. But there's another false flag that has become another use of the term false flag, and that's the concept that the whole thing is staged, that they use actors, that it never really happened and nobody died. This is the really controversial point of view that some people have about the Sandy Hook shooting. Now, what are they basing this on? Are they in denial? They can't believe that many little children were murdered? I don't believe that is it. I believe that when people, and you may be one of them, think that these things are made up, you're basing it on the behavior of the individuals who were witnesses to it. So the news gets there, they grab random people, they interview them, like in the Las Vegas shooting, or in the Sandy Hook shooting, or in this shooting that just happened in Florida. And they interview people, and the people seem disconnected emotionally. They don't seem believable. They don't seem like they're what you would think a person would act like after they've been through something like this. And I think this, more than any other thing, is what's fueling the concept of completely made-up false flags, is that it's the witnesses that don't seem to be jiving with the reality of what just happened. Now, I do not believe that these false flags are that kind of false flag where they're just completely made up. I do believe people have died, that people are being killed. I do believe that this is, I believe it's MK Ultra. I believe it's part of a planned attack against the Second Amendment, as well as working in conjunction with reducing population through these mass murders. They've just got a million different ways they're trying to kill people to reduce the population, according to the Georgia Guidestones. You have to look that up. Maybe we'll do a coffee talk on Georgia Guidestones. But at any rate, the crisis actor, I really think that you're missing it. Those of you that don't understand what's going on here, as far as seeing people that seem to be emotionally detached, they laugh, they giggle, they don't seem like they've been through this, like they're really going through it. It's because of the internet age and the way people are raised. It's because of television and movies. This is what's causing this kind of reaction to these tragic events, where the people seem detached, almost comical, like it's funny, like they're not worried about it, like it didn't disturb them. It's because it didn't. It's because it is funny to them. Because they've watched too much television with murder and mayhem and destruction. They're so desensitized by it. That's going on, as well as a stage fright anomaly. Being a stage musician who's never experienced stage fright, I've been frustrated with fellow musicians trying to help them deal with their stage fright. I never really had any. I may have, but I was like 4 or 5. I've been on stage my whole life. So I'm comfortable on stage. I'm comfortable sharing true emotions, being very real, not worrying about what people think about me. That is not the norm. Most people are freaked out when they get on a camera. When someone's pointing a camera in their face and they realize they get the nervous giggles. They seem plastic. They think very carefully about what they're saying, or they just get dumbfounded and tongue-tied. Either they go real slow and become robotic, or they turn into Barack Obama trying to run without a teleprompter. If. I'm trying to say that, yes, you're seeing an anomaly that doesn't match up with, like, if for some reason we were able to look at newscasts where people were interviewed at tragedies from 30 years ago, it would look very different than the people they're interviewing now. Let me give you a case in point. There was the notorious video of a young woman who was drinking and driving, and she was making a video on her phone when the car crashes. Her sister, her little sister, 14-year-old girl, is horribly injured and is laying there bleeding out, and this girl is still running her video camera, still going live on Facebook, and she's laughing and she's joking and she's kind of half apologizing, and none of it seems real to her. You know why? She was desensitized. Nothing seems real. Yeah. You know, the average person in one day of watching television will see more murder and mayhem than people would have seen in their entire life living in the violent Old West. That gangsters who engage in hits and war against each other, actually, if they didn't watch TV, they would see, the average kid would see more murders on a Saturday afternoon than a mobster would see, witness, or commit an entire life of crime. I don't believe these people are actors. I just believe that they're so desensitized by all of the mayhem and murder that they've seen on television and in movies, that none of it seems real, and they don't know how to act real, and they don't know how to have an emotion about it. They don't have an emotion about it. They're unemotional about it because it just seems like another movie to them. I'm not one of these guys that buys into the false flag narrative that these incidences are made up or a hoax. I just think these people don't have a normal emotional response to these disasters, to these horrible, horrific events, because it's just another Saturday. It's just another Tuesday. They see those murders and all of that mayhem and all of that destruction in a 4-hour session on Netflix. God save the Republic.